2, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and appreciate your patience here this morning as I was talking off air to Papa Joe and MT. So I hope you're having a great morning this morning. Hope you're doing well. I am wearing my Arizona Diamondbacks shirt because it is Major League Baseball opening day. Now, technically, this year, they did a little switcheroo here on us, and opening day is today, but they had one game last night on Netflix. So, if you didn't have Netflix, you didn't watch it, but today there's a full slate of games, so we're celebrating opening day, which is typically on a Thursday, and it falls right into Papa Joe and I having coverage of baseball all throughout the year. So, we feel spoiled. The Yankees won the first game of this season, and so shout out to them. They beat the San Francisco Giants. I would like to thank the Yankees for not only winning, but beating someone in Arizona's division. So with that being said,
right.
We're happy to be here with you. This is one of my favorite t-shirts of all time. There's a bunch of Nikes on here. I got this Arizona shirt from Chase Field in Arizona, watching the Diamondbacks in the World Series in 2023. So this is an official shirt from Arizona itself. We are here with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So thank you for being with us, however you're with us here on Wake Up Call, Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for you here this morning inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service for you, so make sure you go and visit them Monday through Saturday. And, of course, they're always online by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. With that being stated, we got a jam-packed show ready for you. We're going to start things off with our Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, proudly presented exclusively by Meier's Creek. And then we'll get into my conversation with Papa Joe, celebrating Major League Baseball opening day with wall-to-wall coverage of the diamond that is baseball. And then at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be joined by the one and only Curt Fitzpatrick, who comes to the broadcast after winning a national title in Division III football with SUNY Cortland and moving on to the Colgate Raiders to become their head coach. And so him and I will be talking about a lot of different things, including Trayvon Saunders, who was the wide receiver that he had on his team this year, who is now going to the NFL draft, and he was at Syracuse Pro Day, and that gentleman was running very fast. So we'll get into our conversation about that and the upcoming 2026 football season. So a lot of great stuff coming up very soon here with Mr. Curt Fitzpatrick. So with that being said, let's go into the Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, proudly presented exclusively by Meier's Creek. My Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, proudly presented by Meier's Creek on 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia and on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York, in the Syracuse Inner Harbor. I could not pick just one because this team has done something incredible and they've been absolutely fantastic. So I want to give love, support, and respect to the Marcellus Mustangs boys basketball team, who has now won back-to-back New York State titles. Big time congratulations. Back-to-back New York State titles going to the Marcellus Mustangs right here in Central and Upstate New York. And I got to congratulate them. I'll let you know how it all shook out. So this is how it goes for the Mustangs of Marcellus. And you can see it here on your screen. And for those of you listening in on Podbean, a big-time appreciation and celebration of the Marcellus Mustangs boys basketball team, who won 62-47 over KIPP Capital Region to win back-to-back New York State titles, repping Section 3 Class B. The players that got into double figures in this order of how many points they scored: Tucker Burnett, who I honored as my Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week last week for how he played in the semifinal game, scoring 26 of the team's 56 points. Tucker Burnett was the top scorer for Marcellus in the state championship, followed by Henry Lawrence and Finn Chris. So shout out to Tucker, Henry, and Finn, our trio that we celebrate here in Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, and truly overall celebrating Marcellus Mustangs boys basketball team for their back-to-back New York State titles, and this one coming on a 62-47 victory over KIPP Capital Region to rep Section 3 Class B once again, to the Stangs doing their work. Congratulations to Marcellus High School and those Mustangs for winning yet another state title, and for all the work they did to get back there and get beyond and to the top of the mountain once again. Make sure you head out to Myers Creek every single chance you get. You can go out to Myers Creek today by going to 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia, as well as 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. Their two locations are ready and looking for you to come in, enjoy some time, have some great drinks and some awesome food at the Myers Creek location. So we look forward to seeing you out there today. With that being said, P to the Jizzle, J. Edgar Twiz, the Go-So, the grand old smooth one, the one that has so many O's that you gotta pop a Joe. He's here right now with us. Major League Baseball opening day, PJ. You and I have been spoiled. We decided to go Thursdays when we used to be Wednesdays. Papa Joe was like, hey, Thursday works better. We switched to Thursday, and that has allowed us the opportunity to do so many great things when it comes to the world of Major League Baseball. We have been a part of opening day for numerous years now, as well as the temporary kind of holdout, lockout, whatever you want to call it, of these last few years. So I can officially say this on the day that it's happening. Happy opening day, Papa Joe, to the sport that you love.
Well, thank you, Daniel. We've been waiting this. I've been trying to follow the spring training stuff, but there's so much going on with the teams that they're trying so many different players out to see if they can make the opening day roster. You really see some really good players that just don't cut it at this level, and sometimes they'll go down to AA or AAA, and then they'll be asked back. But in saying that, I'm not ready to talk about that yet because I saw a game last night. The Yankees shut out the San Francisco Giants 7-0. And I'll have you know, I stayed up till the sixth inning.
All right.
It was 7-0 in the sixth inning, and when I woke up this morning, it was still 7-0. So the Yankees won. Max Fried, 6.2 innings. He only gave up 3 hits. Now, if you can remember what I was bitching about last year, you're probably going to remember this. I said that Max Fried deserved the Cy Young Award in the American League last year. It wasn't given to him. It was given to Tarek Skubal, who by no stretch of the imagination is not deserving of it. I mean, he's a generational type of pitcher. But Fried led the league in wins, second in the league in ERA, 197 strikeouts. He was a good pitcher for a good team last year, probably a great pitcher because they didn't have Garrett Cole. So I'm glad to see that Max Fried geared up last night and just threw darts at San Francisco. They had a chance to get him on the first inning where he plunked a guy, and then there was a hit first and third, only one out, and they couldn't get a run across. And from then on, he didn't give up. He only gave up one more hit. The Yankees jumped on Logan Webb early in the third period, or second and third inning, and really wound up with 5 runs and then a couple runs later on. So it was a good crowd. A lot of, these people, all of these teams, they gear up for opening day and they have all this ostentatious display of stuff. It's ridiculous, but it was fun to watch. Even MT had to watch it. So, and she doesn't care about that stuff. So that's with that being said, I was very happy to get in on the first game of the year. But today is almost a full schedule, so I'll be starting with this afternoon at 2:00. I'll be watching the Brewers. Who are they going to have playing against the White Sox? Yeah. And their good team, Jacob Mizorowski, who was very close to winning the Rookie of the Year last year. Super pitcher, young too. So, and the Brewers, they give away all these good players, and they trade some of the really good players for marginal picks, but they seem to develop the marginal players, and they turn into good players. So yeah. I can't bitch too much about that. One thing I do want to talk about, though, Daniel, is your Syracuse University basketball coach.
Yes, sir.
Women. Now, I've been a UConn fan going back to Rebecca Lobo days, years ago. Why this lady had to air her dirty laundry on national television because she got spanked by over 50 points by the best team in the nation. Why did she have to do that, Daniel?
Well, looking at kind of the last few years with Felicia Leggett-Jack, she's not afraid to talk about things publicly. And she really isn't. I mean, she called out the Syracuse fans and, talked about the fact when they weren't showing up to games, she called it out. And Syracuse fans really didn't show up to women's basketball games. They would have 20, 30,000. They would have 19,000 at a bad game for men, and they'd lucky if they had 3,000 at a women's game. And she got upset about it. And rightly so in that case that she got upset about it, but she did take it publicly. And when it came to this one with UConn, she said, for us to do what we've done to continuously have to come to UConn and every single school that I go to from Buffalo to Syracuse, it's unfair to the young people. She said, I thought, deserved a little more respect. After being in this business for 37 years and to have to come and be in this particular bracket every freaking year is unacceptable. It's wrong. Put us on a 10 line, whatever. But for us to continue to come to Connecticut year after year after year is, to me, it's a personal attack, because I just think that we are way better than what we performed today. Now, listen, I can't fault her for the fact that they keep putting her in the UConn bracket. It is weird, okay? I mean, I think if this happened in men's sports, I'll put it to you like this. Why the hell is UConn in the same bracket as St. John's in the men's tournament this year? They played each other 3 times. Why are they in the same bracket? Because they want to see a 4th Big East game? Because they want to see another rematch of the title game? Why is St. John's a 5 seed when they beat UConn 2 out of 3 times? And why are they a 5 seed when they won the championship in the Big East and UConn's a 2 seed? And then why do they have to play each other in the Elite 8 if they were to both win? I disagree with that. So if I'm Rick Pitino, I'll say, number one, why am I in the middle of the bracket? Why am I a 5 seed? If I'm Duke, I'm the top overall seed this year if I'm Duke. How does Duke get the top overall seed and they get the toughest road to the championship? How does Duke pull Michigan State, UConn, St. John's, UCLA, and so on and so forth in that bracket? How does Duke get told they're the best team and have the hardest road? Because other years when it's Kansas or Kentucky and they're the best team, they get an easier road to the championship. So I think John Shire has a reason to gripe right now if he wanted to. I think that Rick Pitino has a reason to gripe right now if he wanted to. And I think that Felicia Leggett-Jack has a reason to gripe. Because listen, UConn is UConn. Okay? They're UConn. Syracuse went to a national championship game under Coach Q, Quentin Hillsman, and they played UConn in the title game and they lost. But they made it all the way. But they lost. And UConn's going to beat 99.99999% of teams outside of maybe a South Carolina every once in a while. I picked UConn to win this year. And if they go and South Carolina goes, they got to play in the Final Four. So they can't play in the championship game against each other because they're on the same side. So I will say this, PJ. Although coaches typically don't air their dirty laundry publicly at a press conference. I'm not going to knock. Would I do it? I don't know, because I do bite my tongue publicly when I may talk about some things privately. So I don't know if I would have done. I don't know if I would be a coach that would come out and say, but I've been around enough coaches to understand that they get scrutinized and criticized when they talk publicly. But like Andy Enfield at SMU, he was at Syracuse for a game this year, and I know Andy. And shout out, because he just hired Jason Hart, former Syracuse player, as his associate head coach, who was at Kentucky. But Andy got to the podium and he said, that wasn't a foul on my big man. They've never called that on my big man. So why call it tonight, right? And he said it again to me after he said it publicly. And some people look at that and they're like, oh, that's the coach that flipped out on the refs. I mean, that's how they remember it. So I think with Felicia, people may say, oh, that's the coach that's, flipped out about this or flipped out about that. But I also get it, PJ. I mean, if you were Felicia, and let's say for, the last 3 times you made the tournament, they put you in UConn's break. They could put you in any one of the 4 areas, but they always put you with UConn. I feel like you'd be frustrated. I feel you'd be like, are you making me do this? Are you going to tell me this is just Northeast and it's easier travel? Are you punishing me? So I can understand where she's coming from, but I can tell you that this is not the first time that she's spoken publicly.
I don't agree with her. I mean, if you're 24-8, okay, you're a good team this year. You just happen to be beat by the best team in the country. And if you're going to gripe about something, why don't you pick up the phone, call Gino and says, Gino, I'd love to spend a couple of days with you to watch your practices. That's what it is. If she needs better talent, go out and find it. If she needs to coach better, she's got to do better than that. Her kids were beat. You could see the body language, Daniel, the first minute of the game. You could see the kids were slump-shouldered, sitting on the bench, not rocking and rolling. Look, when UConn gets on a roll with their athletes, they're gone. They're gone. So I respect your coach for standing up for it, but I think she's wrong. And if she needs to get more talent, go out and get it. And if she needs to coach better, she needs to do better. If you're going to beat Gino, you better know something about him. Right. And if you need to do that, call him up and go watch his practices.
I mean, like I said, I can understand the frustration of being put in the same bracket, but I can also understand the fact that, okay, so if you're not put in the same bracket and you make it far, you're still probably going to lose to UConn. I mean, you're going to lose to them 99.999% of the time, whoever you are, because Gino's built something there Gino was good at UConn when I was a kid. When I was growing up as a kid, he was good at UConn. So, him and Pat Summitt of Tennessee going back and forth. But it was Gino, again, 99.9% of the time. So I understand her frustration, but then I would also say, Felicia, if you don't see him here, you're going to see him somewhere. If your team is good and his team is good, and he's probably going to beat you there, because he's beaten darn near everybody. He's one of the greatest coaches in the history of mankind, not in basketball, not in women's basketball, not that particular small sector, but in everything. He's one of the greatest coaches that has ever lived. The man is insanely incredible at finding talent, honing talent, and getting the best out of people. He just is. So it's hard to beat him anywhere. So, I mean, I would say, okay, if you're not put in his bracket, but you still have to play him in the Final Four, how's that going to go? I mean, you got a fair shot when they put the ball in the air, right? You got a fair shot. But, Syracuse, anybody, it's not just Syracuse, it's really anybody outside of Dawn Staley at South Carolina that's probably not going to beat UConn. It's a tall task. It's a tough thing to do. And it's hard because Syracuse has had really good seasons, this season included. And then they run into that. And listen, in the first quarter, Syracuse was sloppy. They were. Outside everything we're talking about today, they were sloppy. They didn't hold on to the ball well. They made a bunch of bad moves in the first quarter, and they went down by a lot early. There's like 31-8. So, you know, I get it where she's coming from. I get it. I really do. And at the same time, I would say, Felicia, wherever you play UConn in the tournament, be it the first round or the national championship, you know, this Syracuse team has to play almost a perfect game to beat a team like UConn. And you got to hope that they have a bad shooting night. And you got to hope that, you know, they just don't look like themselves, because UConn is a juggernaut and they've been that way. That's just who they are. They're in their own league. Truly, they are. I mean, who's going to argue that? So I do want to go back to baseball for a second. I know we're going to go there, PJ, but I want to go back to the game, because this is opening day, but technically the season opened last night. The Yankees won 7-0, but a few things happened. Aaron Judge went hitless on opening day for the first time ever in his career in Major League Baseball. And the robot umpires, debuted. The robot umpire kind of feels like that's more true. Hope it's not. But let's take a look at this. Aaron Judge hitless on opening day for the first time. He struck out 4 times for the first time since September 2024, but the Yankees had enough offense to beat the Giants 7-0 in the game. Jose Caballero drove in the go-ahead run with an RBI single and a 5-run second, and also lost the first challenge taken to Major League Baseball's so-called robot umpire, unsuccessfully appealing a strike by Logan Webb in the fourth. Max Fried, who's now 1-0 this season, allowed 2 hits in 6 1/3 innings to become just the 5th Yankees pitcher since 1969 with at least 6 1/3 shutout innings on opening day, joining Catfish Hunter of 77, Ron Guidry of 80, Rick Rhoden of 88, and my guy David Cohn of 1996. New York won an opener with a shutout on the road for the first time since 1967. So a lot of history there for Fried and for the Yankees. And then Webb, 0-1, started the fourth inning with a 90.7-mile-an-hour sinker on the upper inner corner that was called a strike by Bill Miller, a Major League umpire since 97. Caballero tapped his helmet, and the 12 hawk eye cameras of the automated ball strike system upheld Miller's decision in a graphic shown on the Oracle Park scoreboard. Caballero singled in the second. Ryan McMahon followed with a 2-run single before Austin Wells' single prompted a mound visit for Webb. Trent Grisham hit a 2-run triple and was checked by medical staff after a hard slide into third. God willing, he's okay. Judge was booed before the game and during each at-bat as he began his 11th big league season. The California native had been pursued by the New York Giants during free agency in 2022, but he ultimately stayed with the Yankees. And I want to go to your point after saying all of that Max Fried saved the Yankees last year when they lost their ace Garrett Cole. So as much as I respect Scooball, I will also tell you that without Max Fried, I don't know if the Yankees would have made the playoffs last year.
That's true. Get back to Caballero. Caballero buffed his chest up a little bit because he's the opening day shortstop for the New York Yankees. While the real shortstop, Anthony Volpe, is still on the injured list. When he gets back, if he hits, Anthony, you got to hit, then he'll be the starting shortback. So anyway, Logan Webb is a good pitcher, a really, really good pitcher. He throws a lot of innings, over 200, but he's got one really nasty pitch, and that's a sinker ball. And his sinker ball moves from left to right. It's really hard to hit. And Caballero couldn't handle the pitch. That's why he challenged it. So, Caballero, bone up on your pitches there, buddy. You got no shot against that pitch. Let it go, and you're going to be called a strike.
That coming from PJ here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we celebrate opening day, which technically was yesterday with the Yankees and the Giants. But today there's a full slate of baseball coming to you. And PJ and I are going to talk about this season and the schedule that we have today. You got baseball all day long, folks, and it's going to line up with the NCAA men's basketball tournament, which returns tonight with the Sweet 16. And on the baseball side, Pittsburgh at the New York Mets will be happening first today at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and Peacock. Major League Baseball, MLB.TV, is going to carry a bunch of these games for you today. Chicago White Sox at Milwaukee, shout out MT, Washington at Chicago, Cubs, Minnesota at Baltimore, Boston at Cincinnati, as well as the LA Angels at Houston, Detroit at San Diego. That's all on MLB TV. And the Major League Baseball Network will have Detroit at San Diego as well. Texas at Philadelphia at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time today will be on ESPN as well as MLB TV. Tampa Bay at St. Louis at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time will be on MLB TV. So those games will take you from 1:15 starting to 4:15 starting. And then tonight, folks, you got somewhere to be. You got something to do. I put this on my chest, and it's not a scarlet letter. Arizona at the LA Dodgers will be your prime time game to start off Major League Baseball this season in opening week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the one and only NBC and Peacock. So you know what you're watching. You're going to watch Arizona salute as Shohei Ohtani looks to the ground because the Diamondbacks going to start 1-0. How about it? And then Cleveland, the Guardians, will take on Seattle in the final game of the day at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time on MLB.TV. Arizona making it on NBC for opening night. What? Let's go. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. PJ and I will talk about the lineup and what's coming up here in baseball, and if PJ likes the robots. That'll be right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others is really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant is different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, hanging out here with Papa Joe and celebrating opening week of baseball. Technically opening day was yesterday with the Yankees and the Giants going on Netflix, but we got a full slate happening for us here today. PJ, I read the schedule right before we took a fast break. Where do you want to go in this baseball world? What do you want to talk about here as we open up the 2026 season?
Well, I think the most important thing to do is just look at the schedules. But it's not good enough right now. What I wanted to do today is talk about the very best team in baseball, which is the Dodgers. And tonight they're going against Zach Gallen, who is no slouch. He's a very good pitcher. Diamondbacks have a reasonable chance to beat Yamamoto today. But I pulled up the Dodgers roster just to look and see what they're about. And I studied it for a couple of days. And I'm thinking, I says, how in the hell can these guys be beat? Yeah. I mean, they got 4 or 5 good, strong starting pitching, and then they get of course hitting. If you look at their pitching, and you can pull it up, you start with I'm only talking about the starters because I don't know enough about the relievers yet. Tyler Grant's now, who in himself was a hell of a pitcher. Roki Sasaki, who had a rough spring training, but I expect him to bounce back. He's too good not to. Blake Trennan, who's no slouch, and Yoshinoshu Yamamoto, who is pitching tonight. And I think you got to throw Blake Snell in there too, but he's hurt. And when you put Ohtani there, you got 5 really good, strong pitchers, and we're going to see the world of Ohtani tonight to see what he's about. I think he'll probably pitch in this series. He's certainly not going to pitch tonight, and I want to see how strong he is. I want to see how tough his pitchers are. I want to see how tough he is because you know he's going to hit. Yeah. And you look at talk about the pitching is in itself, Daniel, is where the Dodgers are at.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, when you look at the Diamondbacks on the other side of things, Arizona, knowing that they're going up against the big bad wolf tonight and knowing the pitching staff that is on the Los Angeles Dodgers, looking at Arizona starting the season with Zach Gallen, who, a few years ago going in that World Series, he was their ace, right? He was their guy, and he is their guy. Ryan Nelson is there as well. Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt, who was a rookie in 2023. And then on the IL right now, Corbin Burns and Merrill Kelly's home. Merrill Kelly, they traded away to the Tech. This could turn out to be one of the greatest moves that they've ever made, is the fact that Arizona traded away Merrill Kelly last season, got a bunch of pitching prospects to put in their farm system, and then brought Merrill Kelly back. So they got future guys, and then they got their guy back. That might end up being a great move for them as we watch that down the road. In the bullpen, A.J. Puck, he's injured, but Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, Paul Sewald, some names that you've heard over the years. Sewald was a big part of the 2023 run to the World Series. Gabriel Moreno as their catcher, and then you look at, I love this because one of my favorite guitar players is Carlos Santana, and Arizona has a Carlos Santana on their team now. But Ketel Marte's still there. There was a conversation that maybe they were looking to move him. I'm happy he's on the roster. Nolan Arenado comes into the team. Jordan Lawler will hopefully finally find his place with the team. He's out in left field right now. Alec Thomas has done some good things with the team. Center field, Corbin Carroll, of course, hoping that he has an uptick season at right field. So, I mean, as much as this is a conversation about who are the Dodgers going to be this year, Arizona's got a good roster, and they've kept together a lot of the pieces that helped them get to a World Series just a few seasons ago.
Yes. I think Corbin Carroll's going to have a heck of a year. I think he probably should have been involved in the most valuable player conversations last year, but wasn't for Ohtani. Arenado, who was one of my favorite players when he played with St. Louis, they have a good, usable lineup, is what I like to say. Not anyone really sticks out. If you're going to be real careful to pitch to Carroll, if you have to walk him, you walk him. That's all.
Yeah.
So, their pitching. Their pitching is not as good as I thought it would be this year. They got some guys on the injured reserve list too. But Zach, just like last year, what I told you late on in the year, I said Arizona will only go as far as Zach Gallen can carry them. That's what it is. Zach Gallen has to start for this team, and I'm glad he's got a good contract for himself because he's a good young pitcher. And I think the Merrill Kelly move was brilliant. Perhaps maybe Arizona thought maybe Merrill was already washed up a little bit. So when they traded him away and then they had a chance to get him back where he not starred, but he did well with the team and traded for, and he's coming back to pitch for. I think it's a good move. I like that move.
Yeah. No, it's been awesome to see that they made this move and brought home Merrill Kelly again after temporarily not having him when he went to the Rangers. And like I said, if he does well this season, he stays healthy, God willing, he is a part of this rotation on top of the fact that they have a bunch of guys for the future. We could be saying that Arizona set themselves up for many years to come. I want to go to the New York Mets, PJ. The Mets lost Pete Alonso to Baltimore, but they brought in Bo Bichette from the Toronto Blue Jays. Your thoughts on what they lost and what they gained?
I guess Soto's the one that's going to carry him.
Yeah.
They've lost an awful lot. I don't know if they're going to be that competitive, Daniel. I think they need to probably scrape along a little bit, maybe find some kids in AAA that are playing better and bring them in. I don't see them going anywhere really, and I hate to say that because I follow them as well as I do the Yankees. I just don't see them going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Bichette being a part of this roster could do some good things for them. Losing Pete Alonso, the polar bear, we'll see what that does for the New York Metropolitans. But we got a full slate of games, PJ, coming up here. The Mets will be the first game today, as I mentioned before the break. Is there a game or two that you're circling today that you're very excited about when you look at the slate of games that we have?
Well, certainly it's the Dodger game. And, when you look at their lineup, Zach Gallen certainly knows these guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you got to face Will Smith, who was a classic, world classic baseball catcher, along with Sal Raleigh, who was my pick for the MVP they didn't get. Will Smith, you got Mookie Betts. You got Alex Freeland, Freddie Freeman, of course. Max Muncy plays a mean third base. And you got the outfield with Teo Hernandez, Andy Pages, who is semi, and their big catch this year is Kyle Tucker. Tell me how the Dodgers have got multi-million-dollar players, and they still go out and get the very best player available at the end of the year. Tell me how they did that.
Yeah. Well, they got a lot of money. Apparently the Dodgers could maybe cancel the debt of California, but it's like, no, California as a state will stay in debt. Maybe they'll have water, maybe they don't. And, we'll just continue to roll on here with the Dodgers having a ton of money. It's insane to me, and obviously joke around, but seriously, I mean, California has talked about running out of water. They've been a state in debt numerous times, and yet the Dodgers are out here spending all this money doing all these things. So I just wonder if the Dodgers have deferred most of the $700 million to Shohei Ohtani for the future. If they've deferred all that money and kicked the can down the road, can they maybe help California get out of debt is the next question.
That's true. I believe that Kyle Tucker told his agent, he says, listen, there may be a lot of money out there and there's a lot of other teams. I only want to play for one team, and that's the Dodgers. I'll even take less money if I can get to the Dodgers. He probably didn't say that because he's a millionaire. So
yeah.
The other game, of course, I'm going to watch, Daniel, is my Brewers, and this kid Mizrachi is a good find. He's not a generational player like Paul Skeens for Pittsburgh, but he's a very, very good pitcher, and he acquitted himself very good last year against a really tough division. But Churio and Christian Yelich are probably good guys that will carry him hit-wise. They do have some good pitching, but Milwaukee, I keep telling you this, Milwaukee is so overpriced it boggles the mind. I probably told you this before, if you're an average family in Milwaukee or the area and you drive to see the game, a family of four tickets, parking, program, hot dogs, beers, whatever, costs you $500. Probably Yankees is the same way, maybe Arizona too, but it's a very expensive place. It's a beautiful place, and it's. I'd like to see more of the dome being open, but they don't do it that way over there. So I'm looking for the Brewers to really come through this year.
Yeah. Hopefully for MT, she can have some success with the Brewers, except for when they play Arizona. But when we do hope the best, just all jokes aside. PJ, I want to let you know here, California has the highest state debt of any U.S. state of the 50 that are there. Their state debt is estimated at $497 to $500 billion.
Oh my goodness!
And how about this? Number 2 is my state of New York, which is less than half of California. So California's New York state debt estimated at almost $497 billion. New York is 233.2. The lowest state debt, South Dakota, $2.46 billion. So how about
right.
South Dakota? Where's Florida at? Florida state debt of the 50 states, Florida is 10th with 71.82. So think about that. Florida state debt under $72 million to California almost billion. To California's, which is almost $500 billion. California from 1 to 2. From the highest state debt to the second highest state debt between California and New York, California more than doubles the closest state to them, the state of New York. So as I tell people all the time, whatever California does, I'll do the opposite.
That's sick, man. That is really sick. That's a good stat. And it still, of course, we're conservative. Still, Newsom will still screw up the state with all that money. He doesn't know where to put it because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing over there.
It's crazy.
Imagine this guy could be the Democratic
nominee.
Yeah. He could be.
Put the whole country in debt. So I will say this. I'll say this: with almost $500 billion in debt and having the Dodgers in their state.
You know, when you get talk about
maybe the Dodgers
talking
can help
about the
them
Mets again.
You what?
Alfonso that's on the Mets. That's on the Mets. They should have signed him last year. They gave him a year of $25 million, which is a lot of money. I mean, they had all year to figure something out. And Alonso, man, he's an Italian kid from New York that went to Florida. Go Gators. But in saying that, he didn't get what he wanted. So he goes to Baltimore for ridiculous money. But they do bring in Bo Bichette. Yeah. Bo Bichette is not the hitter that Alfonso is. He's not the fielder that Alfonso is. Bo Bichette makes a lot of errors at shortstop, but he's an excellent hitter. He knows the game inside and out. Of course, being in the Astros clubhouse growing up when he was a kid with Biggio and Guerrero. He's an excellent player, and I think he's a good-looking kid too, so he's probably going to swoon on those ladies in New York City. He'll probably wind up renting one of those townhouses in downtown New York City for $5 million a year or something like that. It's a ridiculous number. But I think Bo Bichette and Juan Soto are the ones that are going to carry the Mets. Pitching again is problematic.
Here's the question though, PJ: will the Blue Jays be relevant without Bo Bichette?
That's a good question, Daniel. That's a real good question. I would say that their pitching is going to carry them. We saw an absolutely brilliant young man pitch last year for Toronto. Absolutely brilliant. Can't say that enough. I can't trade you Savage. I can't dote on him any more than I have been. He is remarkable. Now, I know he doesn't have a big ego because he looks sometimes he's like lost on the mound when the TVs are on their face. But the kid's got talent. He's got 5 pitches he throws for strikes. If you're gonna give a pitcher a chance to win a major game, then you're gonna throw this kid. This kid was tough. I'm very happy for him, and I think that Toronto probably will be competitive if their pitching holds up. But I say that with everyone. I mean, it's pitching and defense in this game, Daniel. Now, they get rid of Bichette, who was not a very good fielder. They bring in a couple of other guys, which are fair. They got the good pitching staff. The good pitching staff should carry him. Guerrero's got to hit better. He doesn't have Bichette in front of him now, so they got to do something else.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see where the Blue Jays stack up. Before I let you go, PJ, I do want to go to kind of spin it all the way back around. We talked about Syracuse basketball on the women's side, but on the men's side, Jerry McNamara is home. I've talked about this for many months. I put up many posts about my thoughts on who the next head coach should be. From my sources close to the situation, Brian Hodgson of South Florida backed away from Syracuse and took his name out of the running. Then Josh Schertz of St. Louis took his name out of the running, and Syracuse ultimately decided to bring back a national champion who was a player at Syracuse and a 14-year assistant at Syracuse under Jim Boeheim before serving as an associate head coach for one season to Adrian Autry before going to Siena and turning that program from 4-28 to a team that made the NCAA tournament and won a MAC championship. What are your thoughts on Jerry McNamara coming back to the house that is Syracuse?
Well, I wrote you a couple of weeks ago, and I said I saw the interview that someone was doing with McNamara for the game, and I'm thinking to myself, this kid's going to go back to Syracuse. This kid's going to go back to Syracuse. And I asked you about it, and you said not yet. Those were your text messages, not yet. Yeah. But it was coming, and it was due. I think you probably beat Sports Illustrated on that deal. Is what you're always fussing at Sports Illustrated. I think it's a good hire. Let me bring something up again basketball. I don't want to bash your ladies coach. I'm sure she's a very nice lady and she's a good coach. I'm going to just throw this at you and see what she thinks. When Gino gets his girls ready for playing basketball, what he does, if he's got a good relationship with the men's coach, is he says, listen, I want my girls to play you guys in a scrimmage game. He says, but I want you to use 6 players and not 5. He says, I want you to run them. I want you to beat them up. I want you to bump them, foul them, whatever. Get them tough. That's Gino. That's Gino basketball. So when he starts out flying down the court, and they got 12 points before you could even take a breath, that's the way they play. But if you see him inside, Sarah Strong is arguably the best player in women's sports this year, and she's only 6'2", but she's tough inside. Yeah. Gino's players play tough. And Felicia, learn to play tougher and faster, and if you got to go visit the man, go visit him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Syracuse had some really good play this year, did some awesome things, and put themselves on the map, which I respect definitely for the work that she's done. And Felicia Leggett-Jack, the first women's basketball player in Syracuse Orange history to have her jersey up in the rafters, and I'm happy for her. Appreciate her very much so. But GMAC is back, and we will continue to have the conversation. We finally know when the press conference is going to be. It will be this coming Monday. So I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited, and we finally got news that this Monday we will be having the Jerry McNamara press conference, the welcome back event to him, and the press conference is going to be this Monday, March 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So looking forward to that, and I'll be back where I was just a little bit ago, which is in the new Victory Court that they have, and that Victory Court is inside the Dome. It's a new part of the Dome that they put up real nice. I was there for Brian Blair, the new director of athletics at Syracuse, and to meet the new chancellor, J. Michael Haney. I will meet Jerry again, as I met Jerry in 2008. Have been connected with Jerry over the years, and I will get to see him again, probably see his wife, his kids, and his parents, and I look forward to that moment, as I was with him a couple years ago in Siena when I drove to Albany to celebrate that job for him, and now I get to drive down the road. So definitely looking forward to it. Happy that Mac is back, and I'm going to read something, because I don't know if Papa Joe saw this, so I'm going to read something that I put, a couple things that I have on my website. You can go to wakeupcalldt.com, and you can read these yourself along with all the articles that we have on wakeupcalldt.com. Just go there and click on the articles tab. You can also scroll down the homepage and find the most recent articles. But I'm going to read a couple things on Jerry McNamara that I wrote. This was before I officially had him down for getting the job. I wrote, "This is the right move. Jerry McNamara was a part of the only team to win an NCAA tournament title in Syracuse men's basketball history in 2003. He then guided the Orange to back-to-back Big East championships in 2005 and 6, so Jerry knows the quote-unquote Syracuse standard. To then learn under Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim as an assistant and help guide student-athletes to NCAA tournament berths as a member of the coaching staff showed his translation from player to coach. Then he took over his own program as the headman at Siena in 2 seasons as head coach of Saints men's basketball. Siena went from 14-18 to 23-12, which included winning the MAAC tournament and going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2010. And playing top overall seed Duke to a 2-possession game, they were 15-14, 17-15, and 4-28 in the 3 seasons before Jerry, with 4-28 being the season right before he took over at Siena. Syracuse needs someone who knows their history. Check, he was a part of it. Knows the Northeast. Check, grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Doesn't see Syracuse as a mere pit stop, but a destination. Check, he's chosen Syracuse more than once. This has been the only path, in my opinion, for a long time. He's shown he can lift Siena from the basement. Who better to raise the orange banner once again? He doesn't belong anywhere else more than home. The new era for a city that loves their hoops can be spelled in 4 letters. GMAC. It's about time. Your thoughts?
That's very good, Daniel. That's a good. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why did the St. Louis and his USF coach deny the positions?
Well, from what I understand, and I can't speak to Josh Schertz, but I can tell people that from my sources close to the situation, Josh Schertz was close all the way up through Saturday night, and then apparently backed away because Sunday is when the Jerry stuff came up. Now, Brian Hodgson, from what I understand, had things that he could not get past. Some people have tried to put some things out publicly. I can't say to the specific if that is true or not, the things that have been put out in the media, but because not all my fellow media tells the truth. But I can say that there were things that I was told Brian Hodgson had stuff when it came to Syracuse that he could not get past. And because he couldn't get past it, he backed off. And he took the Providence.
What are they? What were they?
Well, what's come out in the public that I can't confirm or deny is that he didn't think the fan base support was good. So I can't speak to if that's the truth, but I was told that there were multiple things that he couldn't get past. And that's why he backed away. Josh Schertz also, I mean, he was apparently close in discussions, close in talks, and then he backed off. So this is what I wrote, and this kind of plays to it. And by the way, I haven't seen a lot of other media mention Josh Schertz, but my sources told me that after Brian Hodgson, Josh Schertz of St. Louis, before he extended with the Billikens, was on the table, and we got to report that. So in the article that I wrote about Jerry taking the job, I wrote, Jerry McNamara will become the next head coach of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball program, according to my sources. He returns to the Orange after spending 2 seasons as the head coach of the Siena Saints men's basketball program inside the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC. And then I talked about what I just mentioned before, which is what he did in 2 seasons and getting to the NCAA tournament. In the NCAA tournament, they were pitted against the top overall seed, the Duke Blue Devils, and pushed Duke throughout the game, losing by a mere 2 possessions in the 16 seed versus 1 seed matchup. Blue Devils head coach John Shire, who I spoke with after the game, said repeatedly that McNamara outcoached him in that game. Returning to Syracuse, where he was a player and an assistant coach, McNamara will become just this school's 3rd head coach in men's basketball in the last 51 years, with Jim Boeheim coaching for 47 and Adrian for the last 3. Syracuse University was in talks with Brian Hodgson from the University of South Florida at the time, as well as Josh Schertz of St. Louis University, prior to naming McNamara as their new leader. Like I said, people had mentioned Brian Hodgson, but I didn't really see anybody mentioning Josh Schertz. My sources very close to the situation mentioned both to me, that they were both on the table, and I actually reported when Brian Hodgson stepped away, and some people lost their minds over that post, but it ended up being true, folks, because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. And Josh Schertz, apparently Hodgson was first, from what I understand. And then Josh Schertz was literally this past weekend. Like the Billikens won a game in the NCAA tournament, then they lost to Michigan, and then they're talking to him this past weekend. And then after that fell through, here comes Jerry. So Syracuse did try to go outside the program, and they ended up staying inside the program.
What's the attendance for the Syracuse women's and basketball and men's basketball, in your opinion, rounded out?
Yeah, I mean, the women used to be absolutely awful, which is why I understand Felicia's frustration. I think I want to say this year they got up to 9,000, which in the past it was like maybe 1,000. So, but the men's side, this was the worst year I've ever seen in my life. Of the 14 years, 15 years of covering the team since coming back to Syracuse area, I would say I have been in the Dome for 30,000 plus. Syracuse this season at the men's basketball games, a team that typically on a bad day had 19 to 20,000 people. This season, they had at times like 6,000 people at the game.
Oh, that's awful.
And I will tell you this, which I found interesting. Every game, the PA announcer used to get up on his microphone and he would announce the attendance at the games.
Oh.
They have not announced the attendance for the last 2 years at any. They would do it in the second half during the game, and I'm telling you this right now, and I don't think it's a mistake. The PA announcer did not announce attendance at any one of the games in the last 2 years.
Oh, that's terrible, Daniel.
Except
Well,
for
they need a better marketing plan, or they need better coaches. But I don't think they're going to get any better than McNamara. I'm guaranteeing you this. His first opening day game, they'll have 25,000 people there, probably, right?
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody's going to reignite the fan base, it's going to be Jerry. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what he can do. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I think the fans, and I did say this, Papa Joe, and I wonder what you'll think of this, but I did make this statement. I said, if you boo Jerry in the Dome, I want you to put your house up for sale and I want you to get out of my city.
Very good.
That's what I said.
Very good.
And I'm allowed to say that because it's my city. What'd you say?
He can probably still shoot real good, too.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't put it past him by any stretch of the imagination with that, because that doesn't leave you. And with that being said, PJ, as always, I appreciate you. Enjoy your full day of baseball, and you and I will be talking next week as we continue the conversation about baseball, the tournament, and everything else going on. I send my love to you and the family as always.
I know we didn't get into baseball that much because there's really not a lot happening.
Yeah.
No stats or anything like that, but this first week of baseball should be real good.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it. Make sure you go take care of MT.
Of course. He's running around the house.
Right.
She's got a Walmart, and she flies back and forth. I can never keep track of her.
All right.
See you later.
See you. Take care. Talk to you soon. With that
Go
being
Colgate.
said, that's right. Go Colgate. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, for those of you waiting for the Colgate Raiders head coach, he is coming up in just a second. Curt Fitzpatrick. He's been on the broadcast before when he won a national championship with SUNY Cortland. And I am now happy to say that he is back on the broadcast and he'll be with us in just a moment here on Wake Up Call, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So I'm very excited for the opportunity to welcome Coach back to the show. As we await him, we will take a quick step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Stay with us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K9 Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K9 Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K9 Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K9 Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And, of course, we appreciate everyone for being a part of the show and heading out to Great Lakes Honda City. I am here picture in picture with the coach that was the first coach ever to let me hold a national champion trophy. So, happy to be here with Curt Fitzpatrick here this morning on Wake Up Call. And for those of you that don't know, let me tell you here, when I was down in Florida with my dad, we go down every December, spend some time together in Disney and Universal area, and Pops and I were at Miller's Ale House in Orlando, and we were watching Cortland. And we were watching an instant classic, a fantastic game, national championship game, pound for pound, back and forth, like a basketball game when you're talking about like 1 point of separation, and a team that trusted in themselves to just go for it, go for the victory, and were able to do that. The head coach of that team, Curt Fitzpatrick, winning a national championship, bringing it home to upstate New York for Division III football, and then moving forward to Division I and becoming the head coach of the Colgate Raiders. So I haven't gotten to tell him this until right now when I get to look at his face and say this, but Coach, for all that you've done for upstate New York, for everything, all your hard work, dedication, determination, I know you'll say the players, I know you'll say the staff and the administration and people that have helped you along the way, and I respect that, but for what you did to bring a championship to Cortland, I thank you, and for staying in the state of New York, challenging yourself, moving from D3 to D1, and being at Colgate with the Raiders, another school I respect. I am hoping nothing but the best for you, and I'm very happy that you have been a part of our history and you've chosen to lead not one, but two programs that mean a lot to upstate New York. So with that being said, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. That was quite an introduction, Dan. I appreciate that. And Yeah, it's that was such a fun run at Cortland. That you describing that game just brings back a lot of memories, and I probably wouldn't be here as the head coach of the Colgate Raiders without that game, and that team. So yeah, thanks for that. And honestly, Central New York. I grew up here. I grew up in Fulton. I'm a Section 3 guy and a product of Section 3 football, and all the players that I've had the chance to recruit, coaches I've had a chance to work with from Central New York. I'm a product of all that. So, I'm thrilled to be leading a program with the history and tradition of Colgate. This upcoming fall will be Colgate's 136th football team. Started in 1890, and so it's really cool to lead two programs that have had over 100 years of history and tradition with Cortland and now Colgate. And excited to be here.
Yeah, and happy to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You and I haven't gotten to talk about this, but hindsight 2020, you've had time to think about it. You win the national championship with Cortland. Bring me into how Colgate came about and what ultimately made you feel like this was the right decision.
How Colgate came about. I mean, we won the national championship in 2023, and then 2024 was the next year at Cortland. We had a 10-0 regular season, and we're heading into the playoffs. And that was right about the time that Colgate decided to make a change with the football leadership, and I was immediately interested. Colgate's a program that as a Central New Yorker, you hear about Colgate. I remember being in college and watching Colgate play for the 2003 national championship. I was at home on break from school, and we were up in Oswego. My buddies and I were, probably doing something we shouldn't have up at Oswego, having fun with our friends. And that game was on in the bar, and we were watching that game in 2003, and just the history and tradition of Colgate. So when the job came open, I was, immediately interested, and there was mutual interest. And this is a place that I've revered for a long time, and I'm honored to be the head coach here. And the way I've always seen Colgate, remember Colgate, the team's coached by Dick Biddle primarily, is my first memory of Colgate, and just the toughness and the physicality and the elite blend of academics and athletics. And that's what we say here at Colgate in recruiting is you don't have to sacrifice one of the best degrees in the country, an elite degree. You don't have to sacrifice that to play elite football. You also don't have to sacrifice playing elite football to get an elite degree. You can do both at a place like Colgate, and that's what makes this place special.
Yeah, and there's so many things that you said there about Colgate, and I definitely want to lean into a lot of them. I want to say this though about Cortland one more time and the moving into Colgate and what you've done here. When we go back and look at your 4-year run as head coach of the Colgate Red Dragons, a record that you left the Cortland team, the record that you left with 45-5 being there, which is insane. National championship in 2023, National Coach of the Year honors, and 4 consecutive Empire 8 titles. And then you come in, you get named the head coach of Colgate in December 2024. Your first season is last season in 2025, and the team was 5-7 overall, 3-4 in the Patriot League. But in your first season, you broke the passing touchdown record in a season for Colgate with 29. 3,294 passing yards were the most in a decade for Colgate, and 400-plus yards of total offense, 6 times matched the best single-season production for Colgate in almost a decade, dating back to 2016. So you look at everything that happened at Cortland, and then the offense in your first season at Colgate woke up, set records. Why? Bring me into what was happening with the foundation that you implemented and why the offense got going so well in your first season.
I think we had some. I mean, we're always going to give credit to the players. I think when you have a guy, I'm sure we'll talk about Trayvon Saunders, who you saw at Syracuse's pro day.
Yep.
You got players like that. Makes it. Those are fun guys to coach. And I just think we had some some players that were hungry to open the offense up a bit and throw the ball around and have some fun. And that's kind of the ethos of how we want to play offense. We want to play a style that the players have fun playing. It helps you recruit and attract guys that like to make big plays and block with physicality and all that stuff. So, it's not that we were necessarily trying to set offensive records or anything like that. Just kind of how it fell. And, when you got some playmakers, that it certainly helps. And then we got a long way to go. We just had our first spring practice on Tuesday night and have our second one here tomorrow evening. And then, we got a lot that we're hungry to keep getting better. And I hope we can jump on this call a year from now and, recite more those same records being broken again, and some on the defensive side of the ball too. I think we've got a lot of work to do to continue to build our program at Colgate, but what a great setting and university to build something special. So we're excited to get back at it this spring and keep rolling.
Yeah, and you keep talking about the history of Colgate University, and not only playing for a team that's had this 136th year, I believe you said, of the football program, but to have the history of the school itself, to challenge yourself on the football field as well as challenging yourself in the classroom. Just to speak to the student athlete, the caliber, when you're out there recruiting, just what you're looking for when it comes to getting an education at Colgate and being a high quality athlete as well, just kind of the ethos of Colgate, to go a little bit deeper into what you've mentioned.
Yeah, I think, it's a little different recruiting here, because I think to be a prospect at Colgate, to be someone that succeeds at Colgate, you can't shy away from a challenge. And certainly, every level you're looking for football players that want to be challenged on the field. But, if you're looking to skate by academically and just play football, Colgate's not the place for you. You need to be a person that kind of relishes being challenged. Yeah. There's no online classes. Like, you're in class. We're a university with a little over 3,000 students. So, it's a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. You're in a small class. There's nowhere to hide. You've got to be willing to participate and be intellectually stimulated and involved with your classmates, and and understanding that's why Colgate alums are so successful when they leave here, because they're prepared to solve problems and be challenged and rise to those challenges. And I get excited to recruit students that want that. I think we have, in the Patriot League at Colgate, we have a unique, in this day and age in college football, there are a subset of people that do value being challenged in the classroom as well as on the football field. I think, that we have kind of a unique place in the college football landscape, and that it's not all about NIL. You get a degree from Colgate, it's going to pay you a lot more than an NIL can pay you at the FCS level, anyways. That can pay you for 4 years. You're setting yourself up for a lifetime of success. And this is a great place to coach because of that. That's what I grew up as a Division III coach in non-scholarship. So now that we can offer the kind of education that we do at Colgate and still, be able to get scholarship level football players, I think for a coach is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and like you said, Division I AA, your FCS, and you talk about, hey, NIL, whatever you're going to get for that, a degree from Colgate's going to pay you a lot more over time. Do you dip into the NIL world? Do you find yourself trying to create a plan when it comes to that? How does Colgate attack that? How does this football team attack the fact that collegiate athletics has done what they said they were never going to do, which is pay players?
Yeah. So the Patriot League and which Colgate is a charter member of the Patriot League, yeah, and the Ivy League are two leagues that opted out of the house settlement. So, NIL, I think when people say NIL, I know it's kind of taken on a life of its own over the past few years. There's really two things. There's revenue sharing, yeah, which is direct pay to players. And that's, came about when the house settlement got passed through. And then there's pure NIL, which is, marketing, name, image, and likeness tied to to businesses and corporations. The Patriot League and the Ivy League opted out of the house settlement. So, rev sharing is not something that Colgate does or any other core Patriot League team or Ivy League university. And so the NIL that exists in the Patriot League and the Ivy League is more your pure, what NIL I think was probably meant to be when it first came about, which was a pure marketing value of your players. And so we do a little bit of that, but not a lot. And that's kind of happens kind of organically through relationships with businesses and alumni who have businesses. That type of thing, something that's not forced. And I think for us, and what we talk as a staff about, and what I think we have to create a value about what being a Colgate alum is. I think, there's a value to that, and realizing that to one young man and their family, it might be worth something else, and to someone else, it might not be worth as much, but there's definitely a value of being a Colgate alum. It's not what we can pay you now. It's what you can make down the road. And that's where we have to continue to communicate the value of being at Colgate beyond the short term. And we need to talk about the long-term value of being a Colgate Raider.
Yeah, no, and I can appreciate that and respect that, because college is supposed to be the bridge, right? I live with my parents or my guardians. I'm in the real world. That bridge in between is when you're kind of in the real world, but not completely. And we still have to preserve the sanctity of what college is supposed to be. Do you believe at Colgate that you get to still be that bridge and preserve the sanctity and to help grow these young men from being at home and being in the protective bubble to being in the real world? Do you believe at Colgate we can preserve that, and you have preserved that?
Yeah, I think there is still elements of the purity of being a college student athlete. I think the elite blend of academics and athletics still exists at a place like Colgate. All well, I don't want to, all well, there is a modernness of, there are some elements of the modern, college football Division I landscape here too. But like I said before, I don't think you got to sacrifice getting an elite education, and you're not going to come to Colgate and just go to class online and skirt through it and just get on the field. And I think if guys want that, they're not going to like it here. And so we own that in recruiting. We want, we look for players who want to be challenged. We don't really sugarcoat that. But on the back end, that's where the value is created here. Through the relationships, through our alumni network, through the education that you receive, the skills that you develop here on the field and especially off the field.
Curt Fitzpatrick here with me, Colgate Raiders head football coach. We're heading into the 2026-27 season. Spring ball has begun. So there's a bunch of things that I'm looking at right now, big picture as well as directly with Colgate. Let's go into spring ball. I know that everything's a competition, right? Whoever had a job last year doesn't mean they necessarily have that same job this year, but I want to really take a look at leadership on offense, defense, and special teams for you coming into spring ball. That quarterback position is circled. You're coming off of a record-setting year for Colgate with 29 passing touchdowns and the 32-plus 100 yards that you have when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, and passing that ball has obviously been something huge for Colgate, something to build upon. So bring me into the quarterback, and then I'd love to know about defense and special teams, who some of those leaders are and catalysts are as we go through the spring.
Yeah, quarterback will be an interesting battle as we build through the spring and into fall camp. We have a guy, Jake Sterney, who's a rising senior, played a lot for us last year, played great against Syracuse in the Dome in the second half of that game, threw a couple of touchdown passes, and started many games for us last year. He wasn't our starter to start the year. We had some injury issues, and Jake played extremely well, but we want the guys, the other quarterbacks to compete. Two guys, Jackson Kilberg, and then we have Joey Tomaso, who's a New York guy from Waverly High School down in Section 4, state champion. He's been down at William & Mary for the last 2 years. and he just transferred in this spring. So we want to make it a competitive environment. That's how I think is the best way for guys to rise to the occasion, is make them a little uncomfortable and make them feel that their practice reps matter. Because as a quarterback, if the first time you ever feel like you got to have it is in a game, you're probably not going to be good enough to execute at the level that we need, especially in the style of offense that we run. So I feel good. We have having a senior guy who's played a lot, and Jake. He's Jake Stern. He's played since he was a freshman here and has played every year. So he's got a lot of experience and bigger and stronger. His best football is still ahead of him, and then we've got some younger guys who are hungry to compete, and we'll see what we got. But I like the way the group is shaping up, and I think we'll see a big jump in our quarterback group from spring practice 1, which we just saw the other night, to our spring finale or spring game at the end of April. We'll see. I hope see a big jump in the consistency and the way those guys deliver the football to our playmakers.
And then as far as defense and special teams, who is this team kind of built around in the spring as we step forward?
Yeah, defensively, that's where I'm probably most excited about in terms of areas of improvement for our team. And we returned so many guys that played last year. 9 of 11 starters are back. We were such a young football team last year, especially on defense. Offensively, we had some older pieces. Defensively, we were young, and all the reps that those guys got, led by our linebacking core. Trooper Price was a captain last year as a junior, as an inside backer. Christian Magliacano, who was those two guys. So Trooper will be a senior. Christian Mags will be a junior. Those two guys are starters all last year. Great players in the Patriot League. I think they're both all conference caliber guys, and to all the pelts they have on the wall, the reps they got last year will be huge. Our entire secondary, led by Tymier Wynn, who was an all-conference, all-Patriot League player, back for his senior year. So all the corners are too deep. We have four corners that got significant playing time last year that are all back, and 4 safeties that got significant playing time that were back. One of our most experienced safeties, Josh Steinspring, was unfortunately out for all last season with a knee injury. He's back, so we get some depth and some experience, and I'm really excited for that group to take a step forward.
To your point that you made before, the education that you get at Colgate, do you feel that helps to create an atmosphere that you do have these upperclassmen, you have people that are learning through the program for 3, 4, 5 years? For you, is that education at Colgate University really a piece of the kind of recipe, the glue, so to speak, to keeping somebody around so that we can talk about returning 9 of 11 starters on defense?
Yeah, I think I do think so. I mean, other people may disagree with me, but I think you're at a place like Colgate, when you get on the back end of your academic career and you're staring down 1 year left until you graduate. Like, there's a lot of value in that. Like, you're leaving something on the table if you transfer out, and there's no doubt about that. And so I think at this in the Patriot League at Colgate, in the Ivy League, you don't see as many guys leaving before they're done with their undergraduate degree. Now, in the Patriot League, sometimes, unless it's a medical reason, you can't use a 5th year. So you've got 4 years to play. So you'll see a lot of our guys that transfer who have a year of eligibility because maybe they didn't play more than 4 games in their freshman year or whatever, and they have that redshirt year. Yeah, they're not allowed to use that at Colgate. So they would then, as a graduate transfer, go someplace else and play. Not because some guys would love to come back, but they just don't have that option. And so I think that's a great thing. I think it really incentivizes them to graduate, not only for for the obvious sakes of graduating from a place like this and what that does for you from a career standpoint, but they still have a lot of times have a 5th year that they can use elsewhere. So you'll see a lot of Patriot League guys, a lot of Ivy League guys who will graduate for that last year. That's not necessarily a negative on the program they're leaving. It's that they can't return, and they're really good players, and they can go play someplace else, play at an FBS level, and go go prove themselves and have a lot of fun. So we lost one player to the transfer portal. Our roster is, we probably have as much roster continuity as any team in the Patriot League. We have some great teams in our league, some great teams adding to the league with Villanova and William and Mary coming into the league. Richmond came into the league last year. So, I like our roster. We lost one guy to Boston College, a receiver. It's just tough. He called me in tears, telling me that he was going to go into the portal because he wanted to stay with his buddies. But, he was one that got, they get paid, they get offered a lot of money. We wish them all the best.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, you lost one player, which is a massive win in today's world of NIL and the transfer portal. Curt Fitzpatrick, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders football program, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You made mention of these teams. Richmond joined last year to the Patriot League. Villanova, William and Mary joining here in 2026, which brings us to 10 members in the Patriot League. For those of you playing the home game, Lehigh, Lafayette, Holy Cross, Georgetown, Bucknell, Fordham, and of course Colgate, the other teams making up this 10 that now has Richmond of last year, William and Mary, and Villanova coming into this season. You're going to face off against the two newcomers in William and Mary as well as Villanova. And of course, you have Richmond on the schedule 3 days after my birthday on October 24th. So I'd love to get your take on what the Patriot League looks like, the level of competition, and the expansiveness of this conference, knowing how it's kind of stretching itself out, getting into a lot of major cities, and just what it means for the Patriot.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to expand our brand of football. I think you got some really good athletes and really smart young men who are playing at a really high level. It's very competitive. You look at a team, the team that's won the last two Patriot League titles in Lehigh, just a tremendous football team, physical, smart, tough. And now adding Nova and who's a perennial playoff team, yeah. and William and Mary and Richmond, like these are teams that have had historical success and have won national championships at the 1AA or FCS level. And, adding those to, and I think it says a lot about the Patriot League for programs like that seek out our league and want to be in a league that's known for a blend of academics and athletics. I think, I mentioned a few minutes ago, I believe the Patriot League is a unique space and that it's scholarship football. But getting a degree from the school you're at still matters a lot. And I think, it's attractive to elite institutions like Villanova and William and Mary and Richmond that this is a home where they can play in a league and play great football and compete at the highest level in the FCS and compete for national championships and also recruit players that are, extremely high achieving academic people as well. And it's an elite blend of both. And, now I think having 10 teams in this expanded league, I think can be a multiple bid playoff league. Yeah. I'm excited to keep growing our brand of football.
Well, I mean, Villanova comes in fresh off of being in the Final Four teams in the FCS bracket this past season. I mean, just to speak on Villanova alone, when you know that they're coming into the league, that had already been reported, to see them make it one step out of going and playing for a national championship, just what that says with not only having Villanova because it's in Philadelphia, the brand of it, but to know that they're coming into your conference and like you stated, hopefully have a multi-bid Patriot League with a team that just made the Final Four.
Yeah, I think it raises the profile of every school in the league, and it also means that we're all going to have to get better, and that's great. Like, you want to be challenged. I think the best players that we recruit, they're going to love playing in this league more than they like playing in the old in the previous iteration of the Patriot League. I think the most competitive guys want to play want to play great teams. We played Villanova last year in a non-league game and early in the year down there, and what a great environment. It was a tie game late. We lost by a touchdown. That was the week before we had to come to the Dome and play against Syracuse. And And so, and they played Villanova and Lehigh met in the FCS playoffs last year, and it came down to the wire. I think adding a team like Nova is going to be an outstanding addition for our league, and it's going to make everybody rise to the occasion, and going to make every week a dogfight, which is that's what you want in a conference.
You mentioned the Dome, Colgate coming to play Syracuse this past season in 2025. And it's been just cemented into my brain, into my forehead, that I can do this sitting here in the studio and tell you 11 catches, 105 yards for Trayvon Saunders, because I can't forget that in the Dome. The man who I got to see a little over a week ago at Syracuse Pro Day, I'm watching him and I'm watching Damon Barnes, the DB from Cornell, and the fact that they've gone up against each other, and watching Trayvon, I saw him. And I'm just tracking people's 40s, and I'm shooting video of the 40s. I will tell you this, Curt. I've shot a lot of videos and been to pro days and whatnot. I don't think that I've ever had a 40-yard dash followed, reposted, shared on just one outlet, on X, the former Twitter, as much as Trayvon Saunders, as many people that watch that support it, that got it out there, that wanted to share this news out there, which hopefully got to a lot of NFL scouts. The man ran in such a way that made me stop and go, who's that guy again? Because they weren't wearing their numbers. He just had a little Colgate on his shorts. And so, him and Damon were running toward the end of like how they had the rotation going. But I'd love to get your thoughts on Trayvon Saunders and the work that he's done, the person he is on and off the field, because I would be lying if I told you that he didn't make me turn my head at Syracuse Pro Day.
Yeah, Trey is an elite person, on the field, off the field, outstanding young man, terrific student, has his priorities right. He's a coach's dream, and I think maybe the most proud when you look at the numbers from the Pro Day, and you see all those numbers, and he put up numbers, and I think if he was at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, he would have looked just like all the other receivers there. To know, though, that he's putting up those numbers after having a season-ending injury on the first offensive play of our 6th game against Richmond, in which he had an injury that was obvious to everybody in the stadium when he got injured, that he wouldn't be playing the rest of the season. For him to rehab and come back, and a week after he had surgery, the following week, and the week after that, he was on his scooter on our sideline. We gave him a headset, and he was an assistant receivers coach, because he just wanted to give everything he could to our team and help his teammates, and the way they respond to him. He's got elite traits as a football player. He's got elite traits as a human being. I have no doubt, just knowing Trey and knowing who he is as a player, knowing the minute whether he gets drafted or signs with an NFL team, those quarterbacks, whatever team he goes to, are going to love him and love how he plays and the consistency that he plays with. Those organizations are going to love the type of person he is, and he's going to be playing on Sundays someday. And I don't even know if he's fully healthy yet, Dan. I think the way he ran, that's where he didn't have a ton of time to train. That's all just natural God-given ability.
No, I mean, looking at everything, up to this point at the FCS showcase, the Vikings, the Titans, Dolphins, Cardinals, Eagles, Browns, Saints, Niners, Jets, Broncos, and Ravens were there. Almost the entire NFL was at Syracuse Pro Day with their scouts. And as of this morning, as I'm looking at this, from my video that was shared through my business, as well as another company, the League Winners, that shared it, over 70,000 people on X alone saw Trayvon run his 40-yard dash. And I'm watching it right now. It looked like I did the video and I sped it up. It looked like I did something to the video. I was like, I didn't touch this video. I'm just sitting, and I did while I was filming. I'm like, who the hell? And because it was he started and he was done. And for you to tell me he comes off of a season-ending injury, he may not even be fully 100%. If this is not 100%, then the NFL is getting something great at 100%. What do you want to say to NFL scouts? I mean, most of them have seen him, if not all of them have seen them. If they're watching right now, you're his head coach. What do you want to tell them that you haven't said already?
Well, what they'll learn with whoever drafts him or signs him is that the best part of Trey is not what you can see at pro day, not what you can see on tape. It's how he operates every day, how he is as a teammate, how serious he takes football. I mean, this young man, when I first got hired here at Colgate, a year ago, I mean, he was up in our office and he had learned everything meticulous. He is meticulous with his note taking, his preparation, the way he communicates, the way he sees the field. We give our receivers a lot of freedom within our offense to change their angle, adjust their route based on the looks they see. I mean, he sees the field like a quarterback. He's as quarterback friendly as any player I've ever coached, and he's got elite hands. His yak ability after the catch, he's very sudden. He can do a lot of things really well, and he's a great teammate to boot. So, all the tangibles are obviously jump off the chart. You can see that at Pro Day with some of the numbers. You can, get on PFF and watch his highlight tape and see all the great plays that he made in those 5 games. To have 50 catches for 700 yards and 8 touchdowns in 5 games is incredible.
Yeah.
I think he would have had a chance to break the FCS record had he been healthy for all 12. He's a special player, but a special person beyond that. And he's, I'm going to have a Trey Saunders jersey in my office at some point in the next year, because this kid's going to be special.
Yeah. And I'm going to be talking with him tomorrow on the show, so I'm going to be asking for a jersey as well, Coach. But we look at the broad jump, 9 feet 10 inches. This is at Pro Day for Syracuse. Vertical, 38 inches. The 40-yard dash, 4.40. 20-yard shuttle, 4.29. Or pardon me, 20-yard shuttle, 4.29, and the 3-cone, 7. I mean, and then you just look at his body. I mean, the man looks like he was chiseled out of a rock. I mean, has he surprised you, like, even after this season and after everything he did for Colgate, when you saw him at Pro Day and you see his body and you see his numbers and everything, is he still surprising you as his head coach?
I'm not surprised that he's exceeding expectations, because that's just who he is. Everything he does it in an elite way. He eliminates a lot of distractions from his life. I mean, he's an econ major at Colgate, which is an extremely difficult major. He carries 3.5 plus GPA. Everything he does, he does it at an elite level, and so I'm not surprised to see him doing what he's doing throughout in the process now. And I know that he's just excited to be on a team, and he's gonna impress everyone that he comes across. So I'm not surprised that he's going above and beyond what other people expect of him, but I know he has very high expectations for himself, and that's probably the most important thing.
Curt Fitzpatrick, Colgate Raiders head football coach, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Coach, you never get to do this anywhere else that I know of, but you get to ask the questions here on Wake Up Call and Rapid Fire. We've done it before. It's crazy to believe that the last time that we were sitting down together, there was this national championship trophy sitting next to us. I would love for you to have another one sitting next to you, and that being in the FCS with the Colgate Raiders. So you get to ask me some questions. We'll go back and forth, 1 for 1 here. What's your first question? Any topic, anything you want. What's your question?
Who's your favorite Syracuse football player of all time?
Donovan McNabb. I met him. I talked to him. Never forget what he said to me. Off camera to my right, I have a Tully's coaster of his signature. He signed the back of it. My mom and I were at Tully's with my dad, and we looked at him, kept watching him, and I was like, I think that's Donovan McNabb. And my mom's like, yeah, I think you're right. And my dad's like, you're both are nuts. Like, there's no way he's working at Tully's, whatever. So we went up to him when we were leaving, and he was at the host stand. And my dad goes, I'm going to the car. You guys are nuts. And my mom's like, excuse me, are you Donovan McNabb? And he looked around, and he nodded his head. She's like, oh my God, my son loves you. He signed the coaster. Long story short, I'll never forget what he said to me. And I carried it into the draft, and ever since. He leaned down and whispered in my ear and my mom's ear at the same time. He said, I know I'm not anything right now, but just watch. I might be somebody someday. and I will never ever forget that. So McNabb,
Well, he was right about that.
yeah. So McNabb all day. My question to you: if you ever fanned or geeked out over someone or something, what was the thing that kind of gave you jitters when you met somebody or you got to do something that made you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous?
So I'm a Dolphin. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan since I was a child. Dan Marino is my. I was a quarterback growing up, and Dan Marino was my idol. I met him at a Bills game, and I was an adult, so this is kind of embarrassing to say, but I met him in like the Jim Kelly suite at the Bills Stadium there. Like he was watching. He was like, he works for the Dolphins at the time, or still does, but he was with it. And I like ran into him in the hallway, and I couldn't utter a word when I was face to face with Dan Marino. So my 10-year-old self is probably ashamed of that. But.
Well, I could tell you he was my first favorite player of the NFL, so I understand. Yeah. What's your next one for me?
Can we talk some Syracuse basketball? Have you talked like that on the show?
Yeah.
I grew up in Fulton. I grew for Syracuse basketball my whole life. I'm very excited that the GMAC hire. Give me your take on that. I guess that's not a question, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've written a lot of things about it and talked about it openly. To me, it was the decision to make. So, they attempted to go out of the program from everything that I understand with Brian Hodgson, who was at South Florida at the time, now Providence, and with Josh Schertz of St. Louis. But to me, Jerry's more than proven himself. He will ignite the fan base. I think there'll be 20,000 people at the first game. I think people are going to be excited again. And I love the hire because I think he is a good motivator, good human. He hasn't lost who he is. And I know that by how he's treated me over the years. So I think the lack of ego, the desire to win, but to do it the right way, to get the right people together. I believe in Jerry so much, Curt, that I have said multiple times this week on the show, if you boo him in the Dome and you live in Syracuse, I want you to put your house up for the market and I want you to leave. So I am a big fan of Jerry, and I'm happy that he came home. I had said repeatedly, if Syracuse missed him twice, I don't even know how they could bounce back from that. So
yeah, excited as well. Hopefully they can get another Fulton guy, Gavin Doty, out of the portal. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I've already said to make that phone call. So my question for you, and then we'll have one more after this. My question back to you: if you're a Syracuse basketball fan, give me your all-time starting five.
My all-time starting five. One of my favorite players of all time is C.J. Fair. He'd have to be in there.
Okay.
Derek Coleman. I grew up in the '90s, so I don't know. Way back, I don't know some of those. I've never seen some of those guys play, but Billy Owens would be one.
Okay.
So that's three, right? So we've got a power forward, a center, a small forward, and C.J. Fair. Other guys that I loved, Andy Routens.
Okay.
And man, point guard. Wait, let's throw Lawrence Moten in there.
Okay.
He can handle the ball.
Okay. That's fair.
The socks as a kid, playing youth basketball, to get the high socks, that was everyone was emulating that back in the day.
I always wore my socks high, and I didn't know that I was emulating. My favorite number is 21. So I didn't know I was emulating who would end up becoming a friend of mine over the years, and somebody whose birthday was yesterday. So once again, happy heavenly birthday to my buddy Lawrence Moten, and we miss you, brother. God bless you. What's your final question for me, Curt?
How's your golf game?
Better than it used to be. So I would say I remember I was playing in a tournament for my alma mater, Marywood, in Scranton, and it was the first hole that we were at, and I teed off, and I just hit the ball and it sounded good, but I totally lost it. And my teammates were watching, and they're like, wow, they were like, good drive, straight. They're like, that was good. I dropped my club on the ground and I said, I retire. So like I can say comfortably, I consider myself to be Mariano Rivera-esque in the golf game. Get me to the green and I will bring you home. So I'm the guy who, I got a bunch of birdies, go after the eagles. I'm the one that, if we're captain and crew, I'm the closer, is what I would say. My question back to you, my final question for you, Curt. Food-wise, let's go food. I have my own sandwich at Mother's Cupboard, and I've designed my own sundaes at Carvel. So if we were to make the Fitzpatrick, what meal would it be, and what restaurant would it be at?
That's a great question. Chicken wings of some kind.
Okay.
Where would it be at? I don't know. A lot of good wing spots around. I don't know if I can answer that. That definitely, like, one meal, it would be some good chicken wings.
Okay. Do you have a flavor or no?
I like a char grill with like a hot house kind of blended sauce.
All right. There's I do Daytona smoked down in the South in Florida. You got to try those based off of what you said. So Curt Fitzpatrick here with us. We appreciate you. Thanks for spending some expanded time talking about a lot of things and just talking about the brand of Colgate Raiders football as we step forward in 2026-27. I'll look forward to talking with you soon, Coach. I got to talk to you off the air because I got some ideas, and I know spring game's coming up here in April, but I appreciate your time as always, and I thank you for always making time for me and always just being a kind person in the game. It means a lot.
Thanks, Dan. Enjoy your conversation with Trey.
Thank you. I will. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
See you. And coming from Curt Fitzpatrick one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Spending a lot of time with the head coach of the Colgate Raiders. And we got to talk about so many things. Trayvon Saunders going into the NFL draft, who you get in him as the player and person, as well as, speaking about the brand of Colgate Raiders football, Colgate University, getting an education that the education you'll get from Colgate will pay you far greater than the temporary NIL, and only losing one player to the portal. The look at the spring and the quarterback situation and what they have there, defense returning 9 of 11 starters, as well as the expansion of the Patriot League to include William and Mary and Villanova coming off a Final Four appearance in the most recent FCS postseason. A lot of great stuff from the head coach of Colgate, Curt Fitzpatrick. We will take a step aside for a fast break. We'll wrap things up on Wake Up Call right after this, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well outlet space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in. And then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gainpointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. And now a message from Meier's Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Looking for your next ride? Look no. Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Make your way over there to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York today. Tuesday through Saturday, they're open 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. Be a big kid and go and find the teams you love, the players you love, and the games that you love to play. All at GG Cards and Breaks, where you walk in, you buy a pack of cards, and you may walk out with a friend that you'll have for life. There's nothing like GG Cards and Breaks, and I want you to experience that, so head over there today. Big time shout out to Chick-fil-A and DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. They are there for you in their giant brick building, double drive-through. You could order on the app, order inside, go through the drive-through, or get catering and fundraising through Chick-fil-A and DeWitt. And they're doing something special at Chick-fil-A, and you can go and try it at DeWitt today. It's called Nostalgia, where they make new creations off of the favorites that you love, like the Jalapeno Ranch Club chicken sandwich that you can get in original, spicy, or grilled, and the strawberry hibiscus infused beverages. It's all at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You can't miss it, and we look forward to seeing you over there today. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thanks for being with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. On YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're with us on the broadcast, we thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. Of course, you can also find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following us and for being with us on Wake Up Call, where sports meets life. Big time shout out to our Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world. And the only place you should be going to fill your Easter basket is 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York at Mon Paz. GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Brian's Landing, Myers Creek, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, of course, Chick-fil-A in Cicero, Avicoli's, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Willow Rock Brewing Company, and the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, and of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. It is Bearcat time every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show, hanging out with me where sports meets life. You can find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find that Binghamton playlist. And that Binghamton playlist that you will find on our YouTube channel, just to let you all know, that playlist for Binghamton University is there waiting for you to enjoy all of the wonderful specials that we've had, and it features over 140 specials right now that you can go and check out. So I appreciate you doing that. So make sure you go out there, and of course you can also find Binghamton by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Jerry McNamara will start off next week with his introductory press conference, and you can be sure that I will have all of that for you from the Dome this coming Monday, March 30th. Shout out to the Marcellus Mustangs, who are my Central and Upstate New York High School Players of the Week. Couldn't pick just one, as the team won back-to-back state titles in Section 3. They're representing Class B. So Class B, New York State title going to the Marcellus Mustangs. Shout out to their boys basketball team. Many thanks to Papa Joe. Shout out to opening day of Major League Baseball and my Diamondbacks for being on NBC tonight, going up against the back-to-back champion Dodgers. And many thanks to Curt Fitzpatrick at Colgate as he steps into his second season, and of course is a national champion already with NCAA Division III Cortland Red Dragons football. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, go and find your first ride or your new ride at Great Lakes Honda City today. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe, everybody, and be good.